Hello. Welcome everybody to another Grounded Flight testimonial interview of another Inner Alchemy Academy graduate student. Today we have Alexa joining us here today. So excited for this call. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. First off, Alexa, tell us like where you were at before meeting me, like how was life before everything? Talk to me.
Before this program, I felt like I did not have any direction and I was just really lost. I wasn't doing anything actually for myself. I didn't have a lot of self-worth or just believing in my own abilities, or just didn't have any power behind the things that I was doing in my life. And I felt like this was the step I needed to take to switch the direction in my life to a better position than I was before.
Got you. And, just kind of like walk us through, like, what were some things that was happening either in your personal world or in your business world before we met?
I'm a very emotional person as it is, but I was just depressed a lot. I had a lot of anxiety and I didn't know how to deal with those things. And I didn't know how to communicate well in my relationship. I also felt like I didn't have any direction as far as my maternal skills, and just didn't, feel like I was doing the right thing by my son as far as raising him how I felt like he should be raised. But now I feel like I am 100% better at communicating. I have some confidence and reassurance in myself as far as how I'm parenting him, my son, and I have my days of depression and anxiety, but it's so much different now because I have the tools I need to shift my mindset and always rebase myself back to where I know I need to be.
Got you. And yeah, we definitely are going to talk about some of those wins. And like, where was your business at before all this?
My business,
I'm sorry. Also, what is your business, just for the viewers watching at home?
I have a food and pastry business where I do catering and personal dinners, events, and all types of things like that. I take personal orders, and I also do cooking classes now. I'm just branching out and finding different avenues to, make profit off of my one skill, my many skills. But
Okay. And so what was that? So we see that you're doing like a lot of stuff now, but like before we worked together, what was you doing in your business? What were some stops at? What were some blocks at for you?
I feel like, well, before the program, I was doing the personal orders and doing pop-up sales where I would sell dinners and desserts whenever my schedule permitted. And I was making good strides, but nothing like the strides I have seen once I started this program. And like a lot of other aspects in my life, I felt like I didn't have any direction with it, and things weren't going how I wanted them to go. I wanted it to, expand more and find more ways to make money. Yeah.
Got you. Cool. And so now that leads us to, where did you first find me at?
I found this program on like an ad because I was watching motivational videos on YouTube, because that's how I would, keep myself going throughout the day. And I came across this ad with Deron on it, and I immediately sucked into every word you were saying in the videos. Like everything you said made sense to me, and I felt like I needed to be a part of it.
Got you. And so with that being said, so going to our first call, right? We had our first call like 4 months ago, something like that. And on that first call, like, what was that trigger pulling moment for you to where you was like, okay, look, like, I'm gonna just do this? Like, what was that moment for you?
I feel like I knew before the call because I was just so tired of the way my life was going, and I wanted to, break these cycles that were continuous in my life. Like before I could not see that I was going through continuous cycles, but after watching your promotional video, it started to make a lot of sense for me and made me realize that I had some past things that I really needed to deal with.
Gotcha. And so for all the viewers watching at home, what we're talking about is in my company, Grounded Flight, my flagship program is called Inner Alchemy Academy. And what it essentially is that it's essentially a 3-month intensive healing process that really helps people to first off heal their traumas and transform their inner pain into inner peace. And then on that new foundation of inner peace, show them how to actually reprogram their mindset and actually achieve the dreams and goals they want to have for them in their lives. And so with that being said, before working with me, did you what other things did you try to do to fix these traumas, fix these depressions, fix these things?
I was just lost. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was just going through the motions, and I was so tired of doing that. Like, it's very tiresome, like feeling that way almost 24/7, like all the time, because you're just not happy with where you're at.
Gotcha. Cool. And so then you came into Inner Alchemy Academy, and what would just like in the first few weeks, what was just maybe a win or something that resonated? What were some initial wins that you saw that like you was like, oh yeah, this is going to be powerful? Like, what was those things?
It was me diving into like my past and realizing that I had been like moving throughout my life as a traumatized little girl that had been through all of those experiences. Yeah.
That's powerful. Now, like, I know it's been a while, but like, which week would you say that really kind of lit the whole like mind on fire for you? Or which week was that for you?
I think the first like monumental, like mind-blowing thing for me was around week 3. I'm not sure exactly what steps were taking place in week 3, but I feel like that's when I started to dive real deeply into my trauma and was able to see how I was being affected by it, even presently. And I just didn't want to keep going through that same thing.
Yeah. So in week 2 and 3, that was where we really, I have a tool for my students called the Age Analysis Tracker, and it really helped you to look at your life a completely different way. And so it sounds like around that time, and that was when you start to see all these traces and all these things that's kind of happened to you and how you just kept replaying that, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. The Age Analysis Tracker, it makes you go back and like remember everything, even though that might be, pretty hard going into it all at once. It's good to see how past events can affect your life and like make you shape these habits and like ideas about people that you should really let go of, so you can come to every present situation with the clear mind.
Okay, and so that being said, so going through the program and as you like matriculated through the program, like what was like towards the like second half of the program and everything, like what was some key wins or some key breakthroughs or some things that you start seeing coming true?
Towards the middle and like getting to the end of the program, I started the things I would write down in my journals. I started like speaking into my life, and like everything just started happening exactly how I wanted it to. And I just continuously started seeing things that I would write down, like my alchemy stories come true. I would speak new jobs into existence. It was just crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm so glad that you actually just jogged my memory. So for people watching, right, alchemy story scenes is something that I came up with to help people learn how to manifest, like for real, while healing themselves. And so before this program, did you even have a job?
Yeah, before the program, I had this like clerical job where I was working in a disability determinations office, answering phones and, just doing jobs that I had always done in my life, not because I wanted to, but just because it pay the bills.
Mhm.
And I was tired of, going through jobs that, yes, I was learning something from every job, but it's not my passion and what I actually wanted to be doing every day. So I ended up in a cooking position into existence as a line cook and a prep cook. And I got so much experience through that, all because I started believing in my own abilities and knowing that like anything that I faced there, I could do it.
Powerful, powerful. And so now with that being said, going into like kind of the middle towards like the end of the program, right? Like we saw how your business, right, started jumping, how you started to like, attract these jobs and like manifest these jobs. How did, like, as you were walking through the process, like, how did your relationship with your son and with your partner, like how did you start seeing those things change?
It's I started giving myself grace and also giving them grace and
Mhm.
knowing that they act from the same the same spaces that I was acting from. Like my partner, everybody goes through trauma, so he was only reacting in a way that he knew how. And once I broke things down to him and let him know that I understand some of the things that you may be feeling makes you react the way that you do. But this is something we have to work through and understand that, yes, we both have our own opinions, but we can always come to a common ground.
Mhm.
It's never going to be to a point where we have to be, battling and screaming back and forth to each other and saying hurtful words. Like we can just sit down and have a conversation as partners.
Mm. And now that's huge because as you're saying stuff, it's starting to jog back my like memory from all of our coaching sessions. And I remember when like you were saying how like, but before this program, it was like kind of because of those trauma responses, right? That it was kind of hard for you to kind of communicate the right tone or in the right energy so that it didn't divulge into an argument, right? How did your communication and tone skills, like how did that improve as well throughout this process?
It's like something that you told me was, if you come from a place of, you know, anger and just combativeness, you're gonna end up in an argument. You have to come in peace and know that let your partner know that you're there to listen and that you're not just there to combat everything they say and get your point across. Because you both need to be heard, but you have to be able to listen in order to do that.
Mm. Powerful, powerful. And so matriculating through the process, continuing to the program, like towards like the end of the program, when we got to the reprogramming side of things, right? I remember that you started to like your like business started to really grow here. Walk us through that. Just walk us through that. What
Yeah,
happened?
I started to Deron helped me come up with new ways for me to bring in income into my business, as far as not just always having to do these pop-up dinners that required a lot of work, and it was always something different. I started to speak uh events into existence, as far as like me becoming a vendor for certain events and like getting clients for cooking lessons, and those becoming consistent income because I'm doing it almost weekly or either monthly. So it's something that I can count on to do, or like that money to come in every month it's crazy to me, but it is so, what's the word? Like it brings me so much joy to see these things come into fruition because it's something that I've always wanted.
For how many years exactly have you been wanting those things?
See, the crazy thing is this is only my first year in business. So these things started to happen like at the end of my first year. So if you ask me, that is amazing. It's really amazing.
Right. So you just got into business and you wanted to kind of like, get into these events, like career coaching, right? Like, so walk me through that, right? How did that feel? Because like I remember three key things that like you had a lot of manifestations. And I think one of the things that also sets you up for success, and we're gonna talk about this later, but is how you said on the call, you was like, I want to be one of your best students. Like I want to be one of your like best, students. And that definitely showed. And like, how did that feel, when you got your first event? Like walk us through that, because I feel like that was a big milestone for you. Talk with us.
It didn't even take a lot. It didn't even take, all it took was for me to believe that I could be in that position for me to book that event. I did have some self-doubt at the beginning once I seen what type of event it was, and I'm like, am I doing too much for my first event? And I'm just like, no, like you belong there, so you should reach out and figure out how you're gonna get there. So once I booked the event and actually sat down and I planned every single detail out and made sure that I knew exactly how much money I wanted to make, how many desserts I was going to be making, what I wanted it to look like in my head. And once I had that vision and had all the stuff in front of me, it just like, it was there. Exactly what I seen came onto my table, and I did it.
Yes. And now, like, walk us through as well, because like, I know shortly after, right after, somewhere around there, like you also booked your first coaching client.
Yeah.
That's huge. Like walk us through that. Like, what was that? How was that?
Yeah. That surprisingly came to me. Like that was something I had talked about a lot, but and I had advertised it on different social media platforms, but this person just came out of the blue and asked me if I did it, and I'm like, of course I do this. Like I've been waiting for my first client. Like, when can we start? And once I did it, and that for it to be someone that I was already familiar with, it just made it so much easier because I was able to learn through the process with them and figure out, some of the reasons maybe why they wanted the lessons. And it was an eye opener for me.
Powerful. And so like, so you saw that from your compound interest of you putting that in your alchemy story scenes, right? You saying, okay, like my business was just giving, like doing pop-up dinners, but now we've evolved from pop-up dinners to, events, to coaching, to all these things. Is like, is really huge. And it's like, you kind of saw that, okay, when you set the stage in your mind, when you release the traumatized inner girl on like default programming that you was walking around with, and you step into your empowered divinity, right? Your empowered femininity. It was like everything was just tracking to you. And so with that being said, like going and matriculating through the second half of the program, was there any other big wins or any other monumental breakthroughs or shifts that you had just on any aspect of your life?
Yeah. I went from that line cook job to now I'm actually in a bakery working part-time so I can focus on my business even more than I was. Like every job I've been at has taught me a lesson to, put towards what I want to do as far as my business. The line cook job, I learned better timing, planning, prepping. I learned how to deal with, difficult people and know that they just deserve a gentle smile, and I can let go whatever, how they feel, it doesn't matter. I'm just there to do what I got to do and go home. And now with this bakery job, this was something I had spoke about like for 3 months straight while I was at the line cook job. I just kept saying that I want a bakery job. I want a bakery job. And like when you put stuff out into the universe, it's gonna just come to you. And that's exactly what it did. And now I'm in a position to where I'm learning so much as far as with pastries and how to make my product look more presentable. And all these skills and techniques that I'm getting here is just gonna elevate my business even more.
Yeah.
So
cool, powerful. And so with that being said, all in all, and recapping and you coming through this program, like was it worth it?
Of course, I feel like I'm not a little girl anymore. I feel like I'm a woman, and I I'm a woman with a plan. I'm a woman with a plan I want to do now, and I have something, and I just know exactly what I want to do, and I know I can get there.
Mm,
The time.
how does that feel?
It feels so great.
Yes, yes, yes. And so like, with that being said, like in recapping that, how like because I know also it was a investment financially, we don't got to go over the exact numbers, but it wasn't cheap. We can definitely say that. And so like, do you feel like the money that you put into this program, the time that do you feel like that was worth it for you?
Of course, because I'm making it back. I'm gonna make it all back. Like in anything that I want to do, it's never too big. Like I can do it.
Powerful. And so, with that being said, like now let's talk about, because we talked about so now like just in your like kind of review of just the online training portal of all the week's action steps and then our like coaching calls, like what is your like overall review from that?
The I feel like the weekly training sessions, they are in a very specific order and they're very intentional. And I feel like it's very organized, and it it puts you are exactly where you need to be every week. Just when you think that you to a stopping point where you feel like, well, I don't know where I'm gonna go from here. I don't know how I'm gonna fix this. The next lesson comes up and you're like, oh wow, okay. This is where we're going. This is what's happening. And then the culture calls is like being in this type of community with so many supportive people. It's just so great because you find out that you're not alone in your journey, no matter how different it may be.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you said that, because that was honestly my next question, which was the community, coaching calls, but also the community events, right? You coming
Yeah.
like meeting the graduates, meeting other people, like how is the community aspect with this process?
It's very powerful because you meet some, like we may be, I wouldn't say we're broken when we come into the program, but the way that we evolve from it is so amazing. Like you if you see some of the people now that were in this event, like the community event, or
Mhm.
just seeing the people that you're in the calls with throughout the weeks, the way that they evolve and like the people that they become, you would never be able to compare them to who they were before the program.
Mm, damn, that's powerful. And so all in all, in like recap, like what would you say to somebody, right, who may be looking at different options, they may be looking at therapy, they may be looking at, motivational videos on YouTube, they're like trying to heal themselves, they're trying to, like work on themselves, trying to transcend themselves. What advice would you give them?
This this is so much more than therapy. And
Mm,
motivational videos, no matter how many you watch, they're not gonna put you through the type of work that this program does. Like you dig really deep, and you can only go as deep as you allow yourself to, but it's very powerful to break barriers and old habits and just put yourself in a totally different mindset than you might be in right now.
powerful, powerful. So, incredible. Like anything else that you want to say about this program? What? Yeah, yeah. Actually, anything else that you want to say about this program and the experience thus far?
This program is life changing, and I recommend that if you're thinking about it, you just go ahead and do it, no matter what financial situation you might be in right now or what things may look like at the time. You're gonna see something totally different by the end of this program.
Hell yeah. Um, That's so beautiful. And I'm so glad that you said that, because most people, I was actually talking to somebody today and like the other day, and most people, think that like if you want to build your business, then you got to invest in like a business course. And I'm not saying that's not true,
Yeah.
but it's like, well, a business is an extension of yourself. So if yourself isn't in the right proper foundation, your a business is only going to reflect that.
You have to do the inner work to get to where you want to be in business and relationships, financially. You just have to believe in yourself and know that everything you need is inside of you. You just have to dig deep and get to it.
Powerful, powerful. And so with that being said, like, a few questions to wrap up here. First question is like, what would you say to someone who like people who are watching this, whether it be in 2021, 2022, 2030, 2040, 2050, whenever they watch this, and they're about to come into Inner Alchemy Academy, they're about to come into the process as a graduate, what would you say to them? What advice would you give them?
I know I already touched on this, but a lot of times before the program, I would doubt myself as a person and wonder if I matter or if I have a purpose. And now that I went through this program, I know that everybody on this earth has a reason to be here. And I feel like I am, that is a part of my purpose, is to let people know that God put them here for a reason. And you can do big things as long as you believe in your own power and let your light shine.
Powerful, 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 powerful. I just also want to say, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I remember our first call. I remember, you texting me saying, "Yo, Deron, like, I don't have those funds right now. Like, I don't think do this." And then you text me, I don't know, a week later, 2 weeks later, "Yo, Deron, I'm ready. Let's go. Like, I'm ready to heal myself." And I was honestly caught by surprise when you messaged me back. I was like, "Oh shit, well, hey, let's get it." And to see you come to every session, like be vulnerable, like put yourself in vulnerable positions so that you can grow, and so you can like watch for your own bullshit, so you can like grow and evolve that. And now it's the woman that you became, like seeing how it's almost like everything kind of like in this cocoon process is like you came out a whole different version. Like you came out not only transforming this business that was just only tiny dinners, to now you're doing events, now you're coaching, now it's like you're on a whole, now you're operating on that like kind of big picture, big business level, like in your relationships are more harmonious. And I think we didn't touch on this too much, but like with your son now that you have these tools, now that you have like a language, a whole system to kind of process, heal, transform yourself through, how is that long-term going to impact, you and your child?
Something that I put in my manifesto is that, like you said, I'm a very vulnerable person, and I used to be afraid to be this way, but it's like I want to create a safe space for anybody who wants to come to me, like to be able to heal and know that it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to feel the way you feel. Like even with my son, I know men are, programmed to think that they can express their emotions. And I don't want him to be stuck at mindset. He can cry. Little boys cry all the time, just like little girls. And that's okay. As long as you know how to express your emotion, that does not take away from you as a man. If anything, that might make you more of a man when you can communicate that.
And so now, like with that being said, now that you have this skill set, now that you understand these tools, now that you have graduated from the process, what are your next steps? Like what is the next for you in your manifesto, or just in your mind? Like what is the next 2 to 5 years have in store for the Alexa 2.0?
I have so much, like my manifesto, I wrote it, I think a couple of weeks ago, and I already need to edit it because I've just had some big ideas that have came about just, through me moving through my everyday life. Um, I want to expand Lex Eats as like a worldwide brand as far as, my cooking lessons, my recipes, even cooking utensils, t-shirts, all types of stuff like that. That's gonna take some time, but my first steps would be, building my cooking lessons as a package, like we talked about. And so it's available to people all across the world, and I don't have to, be present. Like, of course, it's gonna be personal because I'm in the videos teaching, and I'll probably be available for, any questions. Like people will be able to call me just like they call you, and emails and all types of stuff. But I have really big plans. Like I want to venture into having a space that has a conference room, a bakery window, the actual dining area. Like I just want a big space that anybody and everybody can come to. And then I even talked to my partner about you know, manufacturing my pastries. Like once they become so well known, I will get into manufacturing so it can be hopefully branded out into different big stores like Walmart and all types of places like that.
It's so funny that you just said that because literally as you just said that, like I was like Walmart, like in my head, like 4 seconds before you said Walmart. So yeah, hell yeah. Wow. So you just on some big, you just like, you know what? This world is my oyster. You feel me? My identity is my reflection, and I can do what I want. So now how do you feel going into those new goals, into these new ventures? Like, yes, it will bring challenges, but how do you ultimately feel about that?
I don't have any anxiety or like any doubt that it won't happen. Like I know things will happen in life and that's okay, but anything put against me, I'm gonna knock it down.
Cool. So with that being said,
with all of that, my face is gonna be on the forefront of it too.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Okay, yo, thank you so much. I think that this, testimonial is gonna be so inspirational, so powerful for so many people watching at home around the world, wherever they are watching. And also like tell the viewers watching at home where they can find you at on Facebook or Instagram.
You can find me on Facebook at Lex Eats and on Instagram at lex.eats7. You can also get in contact with me by my number. You can text me, call me anytime for any business ventures, 980-309-1821.
Boom. There we go. All right, yo, thank you so much for joining. And everyone watching at home, I hope y'all, got some notes or got something that's, that you take away from this. If you want to have the same results that Alex is having, if you want to get to your own 2.0 version of yourself, just like shoot your verse through, and you want to be a part in Alchemy Academy, go ahead, click the link right below in this YouTube video or wherever you find this. There'll be probably a link to book a call somewhere. Click on that, tell us what you got going on, and we'll see if we can help you or not. With that being said, Alexa, thank you so much for stopping by, and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.